Welcome to Women of a Certain Stage, the podcast redefining how we think about menopause. I'm your host, Lauren Turin, a passionate advocate for breaking the stigma and empowering individuals to navigate this transformational stage of life with confidence and clarity. Here, we're diving into a new era of menopause support, featuring expert advice, real-life stories, and actionable insights. Whether you're curious about building your personal menopause plan or you're looking to make an impact, you're in the right place. Let's embrace the change together. Sam, look, I'm so grateful for you to make time to have a conversation today, and I expect my Scottish accent will get thicker and heavier and stronger as we go through this conversation, because I spend half my life trying to make myself understood by people in other parts of the world. So it's nice to speak to someone else from home.
Yes.
So that'll be really good fun. So I've got your book in front of me, and we connected over LinkedIn, and I've got the A to Z guide for us idiots. I wouldn't call anyone an idiot anytime at all. But tell me a little bit more about where this book originated. Where did the idea for it come from?
I sometimes speak before I think.
Uh-huh.
And my partner, I would say last March, mentioned perimenopause. She was feeling different sort of symptoms, looked into it herself and mentioned it to me, and I was like, never heard of it. I was like, okay, this is right. And she went and got bloods taken, and at our local surgery, they only take bloods in the morning, which can affect obviously your readings as well.
Yeah,
that we've later found out, and it all came back normal, but she was still feeling sort of it was most, I think for my partner, it was the brain fog. She's a mental health nurse, and she's always switched on and on the ball, and it was just forgetting sort of little details that sort of got to her more and more. And there was other bits and pieces in the house, and I started to look at Instagram, just curiosity myself. And a week later, after my partner mentioned it, I work at Borders College in Galashiels. I'm a lecturer there. They offer training to become a menopause champion through the NHS. And I replied asking if it was okay for a male to do this. And our HR department were like, oh, we don't know.
Seriously?
They weren't sure. They were like, oh, we'll ask the question, because there's not been that many people sort of done that type of training that are males, from what I've heard.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Especially through the NHS. I think I was like the second in the whole of Scotland as a male, which is hopefully growing. So I went and I did the training, and it just opened up more knowledge for me. I was being selfish. I quite happily admit that. I was being selfish. I did the training to try and understand more from my partner. I wasn't bothered about the work, but it's actually helped my work as well, because I work.
They could potentially hear this, right?
Yeah, well, totally. I say that to the HR department. I'm open and honest. With my students, and even when I got interviewed by the college to put out in the local press, I was like, I was being selfish at the time, because I wanted to know more for myself, for my partner.
Yeah, I love that.
It does help for the work, and the training was good. But then it was like, okay, the training it opened up some, but then my Instagram became more and more, because my partner works shifts, so I've got lots of time sort of spare sitting about doing other bits and pieces. And my Instagram feeds kettlebells, weights, golf, and perimenopause.
Brilliant. I love it.
And that's where I started sort of taking small notes and just wee bits and pieces about sort of hot flushes, joint pain. Then I'm going, there's lots of these words of like, what does it all mean? Then you're looking, some of it's quite scientific, or not scientific, but medical background, medical terminology. Yeah. And as a man, I'm going, well, what does it mean to me and my partner? Which one that got me was the electric shocks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gosh, I've forgotten all about them. Yeah.
And I'm going, then you go into Instagram and you're like watching all these, and there's a couple of males, usually I think they're mostly American males, that do sort of some feeds for perimenopause, menopause, and you're taking small notes. Then Scotland's colleges got in touch with me to interview me for being one of the few males to do the menopause champions training.
Yeah.
And they were just chatting away, and like, why did you do it? And I was like, well, it's helping with my work. I'm tangent off, but back in my work, more and more females were actually talking to me about it.
Let me come in on that. Let me just jump in with that, because I know that when we deliver a Menopause Champion training, we've been doing this since 2014, that more and more we have men coming in. Usually they're coming in because they've got a team member who's struggling and they don't know how to help and support them, or they've got a partner. And that's usually where most people will start, not just men, but everybody will start on their journey to become a menopause champion or a menopause coach, because they want to help somebody or they've got a personal interest in it. So it's a great place to start. But I also, just for anyone that's listening who is thinking about training to be a champion or to be a coach, I think one of the key things is people are not looking necessarily to speak to a female that's going through menopause. They want to speak to someone who will listen, who's empathic. And that doesn't matter what gender you are.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. I'm really excited that you've trained to be a champion and that you've gone on to do so much more with it as well. Sorry, I interrupted
No, not
you
at
there.
all. But it is like that, because I would nip into different offices throughout the day in the college, and we work in predominantly females. There's lots of females. Health and social care, our department is 90% female.
Yeah.
Other departments as well. And again, it's just that bit chat, but again, it's being compassionate, but using a bit of humour to break the ice as well.
Yeah.
And you've got the fan on, you must be feeling hot. But then it's like having a wee bit of banter, and they're like, I know. Then I'm like, we chat about I'd mentioned something about HRT, and I'm like, I don't know about this. And I use this oil. And so I'm picking up information from them. We're talking about it, and I'm going, I didn't realise you could get oil. She's like, oh, great. She's, my partner was snoring last night. And I hear everything. He was chewing his Rice Krispies this morning. And I'm going, that's me. But it's just breaking that barrier down and being, it's that honest conversation, which I try to put in the book. It's about these wee things that make a difference as well. And
how did you find the title for the book?
I wanted to make, in the book, there's obviously, I started off, I thought, all the words, I thought, I'm going to pick, I like the alphabet idea. I thought it could be like a dictionary for perimenopause.
Yeah.
And so the A to Z was there. Then I wrote down a list of words, and I thought I need 4 or 5 words for each letter. And I sort of started that way. And it's like the A to Z perimenopause, I had that. Then I was just like, it was like the idiot's guide. And that was it. And it came out again when I was getting interviewed by Scotland's colleges, because they're like, interviewed me, and I was like, I'm thinking of writing a book. And the interviewer stopped me, and he was like, right, we'll stop it there. This has got a whole different line to it. And I'm going, he's like, you're writing a book? I went, yeah. I was like, I made notes. He's like, oh, what's it called? And I was like, it's the A to Z guide for us idiots. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah. And I thought, that sounds actually quite good. So it just came to me at that time, and I thought I'll stick with it. And it's, I think, because I want to write it like for a man to a man, speaking to your friends, having a pint, having a drink. They're asking questions. So that was the sort of style I went for, and I wanted to limit it to between 150 to 200 words per word. So it wasn't too much information, wasn't too detailed, which initially started off well. Then once I got into it, I was writing screeds, and I'm going, I've wrote 1,000 words, but that's about 4 different words. And it's trying to break it down, because they all link together.
Nothing stands on its own with menopause, does it? There's always a connection somewhere.
To break it down.
So for anyone watching on YouTube, this is the book we're talking about here. And where can people buy the book? Where can people access it?
It's on Amazon just now. Amazon only. Present ebook and paperback.
Excellent. And we'll put the links for all of that at the end of the show notes and everything. So that'll be available for everyone. So what you had the idea, you've created the book.
Yeah.
How did you go about getting it out there and sharing it and promoting it?
I just read about self-publishing, and spoke to a colleague in the Health and Social Care Department. She's had a few books published for childcare, and spoke to her, and I picked her head about it. Then again, for the editing side, I'm lucky enough that a friend round the corner's a designer, and I mentioned about a cover and a book, and he's like, let's have a pint, we'll do the cover. So an hour and a half in the pub and a few pints of Guinness when we came out of the cover.
Amazing. Fantastic.
Editing probably was the hardest part, but I trying to put it into the format for Amazon was difficult. So I employed someone to do that for me.
Got you. How did you find the whole experience of doing it?
I actually quite enjoy it. I rate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an A to Z of menopause coming after the A to Z of perimenopause?
I have been asked to do that, yes. And then post the Rotten trilogy.
Yeah. I thought that might be the case.
Well, I don't know. I've started. A few teachers have got in touch with me. I was like, because I work in education, and I've been looking at like a sort of Mr. Men type book for 8-year-olds about the pause. And I suppose because I don't know if you about the Pause family. So there's Mr. Pause, Mrs. Pause, Perry, and Menno.
Yeah, got
and
you.
It's a wee family
that.
how one of the first stories is going to be about how Mrs. Pause is feeling hot and flushed. And but it's just it's going to be like 10, 12 pages, but it's like trying to explain to maybe 8, 9-year-olds
what the mum's going through.
What mum's going through, reading the bedtime story. So that was the next idea.
Excellent.
But yeah.
And will you have input from people in the education sector for that, or
I've spoke to a couple I've spoke to that. I've ran that idea past them. They're like, yeah, that'd be great, especially sort of primary 6, primary 7, where they're getting taught more health education at that age now. So
yeah. And that's often when
parents are older as well now. Oh, yeah. You're older when you're having children. So
yeah, very often that's the case. And also, young girls are having their periods start a lot earlier now than they've ever done as before as well. So I think it's a great time to introduce it in a way that's age appropriate. So I'll be keeping an eye on that and definitely having you back on when you get them up and running. So you sent it to me very kindly, and I had a look through, I had a quick read, and I love the fact that it's like, you don't need to read it in order. This isn't Harry Potter. You're not going to ruin the plot. If today's brain fog day, skip straight to B. If it's rage day, head to R before you say something effing stupid. Treat it like a survival manual, not a novel, and read it before you react. Was that written to the men that are reading this?
It's also aimed at a man reading the book. Although lots of females have been reading it and getting back in touch and saying that it's helped them as well. I
think any good, easy to read, digestible information is very, very welcomed. And I'm going to jump straight to page 102. So page 102 is sex, staying close when everything feels different. Because I know for so many men that have reached out to me over the years, it's kind of like, I think my partner's having an affair. I don't know what's changed in the relationship. There's all of these thoughts that are going on for somebody not knowing what's going on with their partner, their wife, and the fact that you've put in here. Do you want to read out a little bit from that section there?
Now, sex during perimenopause can feel confusing as hell for both of you. She still loves you, she still wants connection, she still wants closeness, she still wants to feel you, but her body and brain aren't always on the same page. Some days she feels affectionate and warm, other days she feels flat, distant, overwhelmed, or like her skin is buzzing with too much input. None of this is personal. Communication is key. No guessing, no assumptions. Just talking honestly about what feels right, what doesn't, and what might help you feel close in other ways. Sometimes reassurance goes further than anything else.
Yeah, and I think that word is the key word, which is communication is key. Totally. Because often what we might feel or want in the morning is very different from what we might want or feel later on in the day. Yeah. And it can ebb and flow and change throughout the day, the week, month, the year. So I think that, just super simple. I just wanted to kind of maybe pick out a couple of bits. And the other bit I had looked at was stress, which is on page 99. And also support, showing up without acting like a hero. Because so often it's a masculine trait. I'm not saying all men do this or women don't do it, but it's a masculine or deemed a masculine trait to step in and to fix.
Yes.
And if something appears that it's not right or appears that it needs something to happen to make it better, a man will typically want to step in and fix it and help. And often that's the very last thing that we want. So do you want to read out support, showing up without acting like a hero a little bit from there?
One of the main reasons that I found more information was, I think quite a lot of men are overthinkers. And you always think it's you. And the worst thing that you can do is ask constant questions, especially for someone that's perimenopause. Yeah. And if you're like, what have I done? You've done nothing. I don't know. And it's like, all right. But that communication and reassurance, then it just makes us as males feel better. Mm. Doesn't make the partner feel better because they're still going through that. But you're going, right, okay, And it's just the communication and support's the big one.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably, was that stress?
So 98, support.
Support. Support, showing up without acting like a hero. If you're reading this book, congratulations, you're already doing more than most. Support during perimenopause isn't about grand gestures or swooping in like some sort of hormonal superhero. It's about showing up, listening, being steady when she feels like she's unraveling from the inside out. She's not choosing the mood swings. She's not choosing the overwhelm. She's not choosing the days where everything feels like too much. So don't take it personally when the storm hits. She's dealing with internal chaos you can't see. Real support looks like adjusting the heating without moaning, helping her cool down when she's overheating, staying patient when she's irritable, stepping in quietly when she's struggling, not reacting to every sharp comment like you've been personally attacked. Asking what do you need instead of guessing like a confused, well-meaning Labrador. Talk to her, ask what helps, ask what doesn't. Maybe she needs space, maybe she needs help with errands, maybe she needs you to take over dinner. Brain fog it will cause some laughable disasters, just roll with them. Support is not about fixing her, it's about not letting her face this shit alone.
Exactly. And I think, the point you made just before you read that out, which was often someone will say, what have I done wrong?
Yeah.
And in the moment of making a question like that, you're immediately making it about you and not about the other person.
Totally.
So,
yes.
Always changing that question around to going, what can I do to help and support? Yeah. What do you need from me at the moment? How can I help? So making it about them rather than about you, I think is such a big shift.
And even just doing something without actually saying that you're going to do it.
Oh, even better.
Yeah,
even better.
A simple, I'm on a couple of groups where sort of male menopause and answer questions and try and support other men. And it's just in the morning, if you come down, you could sense something. It's maybe sort of like just grabbing your breakfast and going to a different room. Because you're chewing or you're slurping that you don't know that you do. It just shifts that balance. And it's about giving your partner time to then come through and say morning to you, or it's teamwork.
What are the top 3 things that come up in those types of groups where it's menopause men supporting men through menopause?
Honestly, it's frustrating because it's what we said at the start. They think it's about them. They don't see it as. I always finish a comment if it gets when it goes back and forward on comments. I always finish it with, "It's not you versus her. It's both of you versus the problem." And that's my last comment. I don't reply anymore because as your partner doesn't want to feel like that. Your partner's scared. She's frightened. She doesn't know what's happening daily. The hormones fluctuate that much that yesterday I'm feeling good. Yeah, we'll go and do this tomorrow. Wakens up and it's like, oh, no, it's not happening. No, but it's about understanding that as well. And I think it's about the communication side on these groups where, but they don't seem to talk to their partner. They just assume that their partner's being nasty because they want to be nasty or they're being irritable, and you're going, no. Communication's got to come across, and you might need to start it. Having those difficult conversations of what needs to happen. And it's about supporting. Because today, there was a couple of comments came up, and my partner's denying she's in perimenopause. She's denying this, she's denying that. And I just sent him the symptoms tracker. I've never seen that. And he filled out, he went, okay, I says, now go and do it with your partner tonight. So,
yeah, just basic. And I think that's the thing, because with puberty, you can see your body changing. You know what's going to happen. You've been told about it usually by your parents. You've definitely been told about it at school. And there's very obvious things that are happening and changing when you go through puberty. And yet when you hit perimenopause, for the majority of people, it's been bubbling away in the background for 3 or 4 years before you actually start to notice what's going on. So these symptoms can creep up and creep up and creep up very slowly and very insidiously. And you're not even aware that it's perimenopause that you're in. So often it will be someone else that recognises you're perimenopausal before you are. And that's going to be the people closest to you. Totally. Because if you live with somebody, they're used to your regular ebb and flow of energy and interaction and what you're like as a human being. So any changes from that norm is going to unsettle your partner or the people that you're closest to. Yeah. And if you haven't got a good communication to start off with, then it's going to show up the cracks in your relationship for sure. Yeah, so is that something you see in those groups? Is that the couples that communicate more?
Yes, they have a better understanding and a better. These are the sort of the men that are replying positively compared to the men that are sort of, it's never going to change, nothing's changing. You can't do this, you can't do anything right. You're going, that's not true. So yeah,
that's definitely really interesting.
It's the communication one that's a big one. And again, I'm lucky. As I said, my partner sort of, we're having a laugh because at our work she's like, when the book's about you, she's like maybe 10% because she's not got all these symptoms. But we talk about when we went through it, and it's about some of the symptoms and other bits she's like she's never had. May get them, may not. But it's about just having that conversation, and she's very good at communicating. If it hadn't been for my partner, the book would never have happened because she talked about perimenopause, and I was like, right, okay, I'm going to do the training. Oh yeah, go for it. Then I came back and went, I think I'm going to write a book. And she's like, what? And I was like, but then it was good communication back and forward. And the other morning, it was funny because I don't know if we mentioned it earlier. She came down, she was like, my knees. I was like, that's joint pain. It's in the book. And she shut up.
I was going to say, has she been fully supportive in this process?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, yeah. So unbelievable. Yeah, it's just. I think it's good. It's just. It's helped us, and hopefully helps other couples as well. Just the understanding and being able to talk to each other. That's it.
Have you done any interviews together yet?
No.
That'll be interesting. Maybe we need to have a conversation, see if we can get you in front of some of my students to see the dynamics between what's good, bad and ugly, and not the good, bad, ugly with you guys, but what you've seen perhaps anonymously in some of the groups. So tell me a little bit more about, I always hear from men who usually will reach out to me, they'll be following my profiles for a while, and then they'll reach out and say, can you speak to my partner? And I'm like, well, have you spoken to your partner yet? That's kind of like a good place to start, because me just suddenly reaching out is not going to help anybody usually. And often it's because the intimate side of the relationship is broken down. Does that come up in the men's groups very much?
Yeah, the intimate side is a big part. Yeah, that seems to be the main question in the group. And again, we talked about this. The sex there. Sex is the main one that pops up all the time on the questions. And this Facebook group, it's worldwide. So again, there's lots of questions asked, and again, I would say, I think there's 40 posts a day, and at least 10 of them are about sex. So intimacy and sex seem to be the big one to get together, whereas you're replacing communication.
I'm just curious. A guy goes on there and says, my partner's lost interest, or we haven't been intimate for X amount of time. This is what I'm imagining is being written. Is she having an affair? Is she not interested anymore? Totally. All of those kind of comments. And then you write back and say, have you communicated? I mean, I imagine the guy's going to read that and just go, what the heck are you talking about?
Yeah. Totally.
So how do you actually respond to someone who is jumping into the group and putting those sort of comments? How do you help them get to the point where they come from a place of, I'm basically not getting what I need or want from this relationship anymore, to, I actually do have to communicate and change my own behavior to be able to support my partner for us to come back together? How do you tackle that? I
think I'm still working on that, because some of the, depending on how many people reply to the post, it depends on the dynamics of that post. If you've got 2 or 3 positive contributors to it, it works. If there's more saying, no, that's it, done, time for the divorce, sell up, leave, everything else, you're just going.
So it's kind of very heavily peer influenced then, in terms of.
I would say so, yes. Yeah.
Wow. So you want to be getting all the positive people in there early on.
One good post that popped up last week was someone had went onto a female menopause page. And they just put up, because on these posts you can be anonymous, he put up, has anybody visited a female page? And all these guys are replying, I bet they're just moaning about us. And I replied saying, actually, we're way down that list. there's lots of things come before us on the female page, and they're like, because I'm on a couple sort of as well, and it's just like we're actually well down that list.
Yeah.
It's about us, it's communication, but again, it's how your partner's frightened, scared, they don't know what's happening to their body.
Yeah.
The brain fog, I would say, is the biggest one that is mentioned on these pages. I don't know.
I'm actively
from your sort of background. Is brain fog one of the?
So sleep anxiety, low mood, brain fog, joint aches and pains, hot flushes, night sweats. They're definitely
your
common symptoms.
Yeah. No, it's just interesting, and it's just like, and a few of the guys went, yeah, we've been on them, and they don't actually moan about us as much as you're moaning about your partner here.
Because the man's thinking it's all about them.
Yes, is what we said at the start. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Anyone listening, I apologise. But
we do. And until you realise that, you're sort of going, yeah. And then you're going, you know what, I've been selfish. Even sometimes it's about, you say something or you react, and it's about coming back and saying, you know what, I was selfish there, 'cause I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that or said that because I don't know how you're feeling. And it's just having the confidence to do that with your partner, and you should be able to.
Have you come across any conversations around the natural decline of hormones in people generally? So obviously we know women go through menopause, but when we look at men, obviously there's a natural decline in hormones as well, and that hits different men in different ways. And for some of them, they'll have menopause-like symptoms if they have a quick drop-off of testosterone, at certain points. Has that ever come up?
There's more and more posts, again, from positive people about that. Have you had this checked for yourself? Have you had, especially testosterone? So that's becoming more aware of as well on these pages, which is interesting. Yeah.
But what do you think? Go on.
No, but then again, that's about them, and they're like, don't reply to that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't get many replies on that.
That's so interesting, isn't it? It does, as much as we strive for equity and equality, there's still some very natural behaviors that come out at certain times of our life, and there's a lot of learning and bias that we have to overcome when it comes to this time of life, for sure. What would you like to have seen as you grew up in Dundee and in the Borders and wherever else you've been? What would you like to have seen differently in your maybe teens, 20s, 30s to have prepared for this time of life? What would you think would have helped?
Me and Lizzie were talking about that last week, my partner. And again, our parents never talked about it. Mm-hmm. Your mum, your dad, nobody ever mentioned it. And it's again, it's possibly from an early education as well. So getting into schools, as we said earlier, at an earlier stage about understanding what's going to happen, even for young men in school to learn about it for when they're going to have to deal with it later in life with their partner. So that's all I could say is education. But again, that's changed over the years as well. So it's about how we bring it in. Yeah,
I mean, it was put on in England. It was put onto the education system in 2019, and then obviously the pandemic happened, and it didn't quite get rolled out as speedily as it might have otherwise done. But when my son sat his GCSE in biology, he had a question on FSH, on follicle stimulating hormone, and thankfully he answered it correctly. I'd been very disappointed if he hadn't. So it's definitely eking its way through there, but I don't know if it's being delivered in a way that is super practical. In other words, for a young man or a young lady, young girl, are they being taught in a way that not just prepares them to know what's coming in their future, but to maybe know what's going on with their mum? Yeah,
because that's what I found at the college. Students have found out that I did my menopause training, and I've wrote a book, and they're asking me more questions because I work in health and social care, so levels 5 and 6 up to access to nursing, and so the adults with physical and learning disabilities. And again, it's about that as a young teenager coming in the morning, you're working with them, and they're like, my mum's doing my head in. She keeps mentioning stuff about, I was like, she mentioned like perimenopause, menopause. Oh, that's what is it? And I'm like, and you could have that chat. And they're like, you're a man, how do you know this?
Well, it just so happens I wrote the book.
It's opening up those conversations, and it's quite, and again, I work with, at the further education college, we have mature students as well. So we have students who are possibly going through this stage of life. and they're asking questions, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's really good. I'm enjoying the process, and it's just
Amazing.
learning from lots of different people, sort of colleagues, family, friends, sort of just picking bits up. It's just that big. You've also been doing it for years. It's just massive.
It is. And I've got a new cohort of menopause coach students just now with over 50 people there from all over the world. And I love it. It's great fun. But everyone comes with a different background, with a different story, with a different experience, with a different desire to do something different in their part of the world for menopause awareness. When I say menopause, I'm talking about everything from peri to post-menopause. It's a massive topic, and I never claim to be an expert, even though I've done nothing but study menopause for 12 years, and I've got 40 years plus background in human performance. It's just a minefield. There's so much that we still got to learn, and often people are like, well, you should do this or you should do that. One of the reasons I stay off of a lot of the forums, and I see great value in them, but one of the reasons I stay off of them is that I, as a coach, as a trainer, as a speaker, I don't give advice. So for me, it's about helping people open up their mind to how are you approaching your mindset, your hydration, your nutrition, your movement, asking and receiving help and support, your morning and evening routines, decluttering your life. Are you kind of being conscious of your identity shift? What do you want for the future? Because so many people I find that I've worked with or coached over the years, they've kind of gone through school, maybe further education, into a job, had a family, and they wake up in their 50s going, oh, this isn't the life I dreamt I would have when I was a little girl. And all of a sudden they are questioning their relationships, they are questioning the jobs that they're doing. And that's when we really need the people around us to step in and just provide that support and reassurance and communication, to sort of look at, okay, what could the next phase of our life look like? Because if we've gone roughly 37 years of having menstrual cycles, we're going to get to menopause and live for roughly another 37 years postmenopausally. So we're really only halfway through our adult life when we get to menopause. So it's a really great springboard to look at, oh my gosh, what could the future look like with my partner, my family, with my friends, with my work? What is it I want to see happen over this next 3 or 4 decades? And how can we live as well and as healthily as possible? Because you'll see it in Scotland for sure. Not so much maybe in the borders, but definitely, Glasgow, Aberdeen, Dundee. People are living long, but they're in poor health for that last couple of decades of their life. So this is a time, if we haven't done it already, where we really need to dig deep collectively with our peers, with our partners, our families, friends, community, work colleagues, and start thinking about living healthily and making sure that we're doing everything in our power to be as healthy as we possibly can. So, I grew up in Glasgow, and I think heart disease was one of the biggest killers of people in Glasgow when I grew up in the 80s. I don't know if it's changed very much now, but I know for sure that there's a long way still to go across the whole of the UK in terms of how we look after ourselves, and what good time to do it when we're questioning everything anyway, is to start thinking about how, for sure. So where does you and your partner see, that kind of continued learning journey? Do you see that as a continued learning journey together as she's going through this transition?
Yeah, totally. That's why, again, sort of in the book, I left blank pages just for notes. And it's to make notes as you're going through it. It's like whenever you get a guide, you either highlight parts or you stick your post-it notes. So I thought it's a good way to leave it, and you might add extra words, you might add triggers. And again, it's about adding to that as you go. But it's continually learning. And again, at the back, I put in a colleague who's a sports lecturer. I was questioning her again before the book even was probably thought of. And I spoke to Janet about the adaptogens and sort of different vitamins and minerals to take, because you look on Instagram,
it's a minefield.
Yeah, and they're paid to take these supplements and advertise them, and they possibly don't even take them. Whereas Janet's, she's played hockey for Scotland, she's a sports nutritionist, and she'd just written a paper on the best adaptogens for mature women. And I was like, can I use that in the back of the book? She's like, yeah, no problem, Sam. So we've added that, and again, it's written by somebody who's not actually paid for it, or influencer. Is the word I was looking for. And it's just there because my partner will see something, or she'll speak to somebody at home, or she used to, she'll speak to somebody at work and they're trying this, they're trying that. So we had a cupboard full of different tablets. And you'd be taking 10 or 12 a day. Now it's down to 5, your main ones. And again, that's helped. It's just that knowledge and understanding. So she'll come back and go, what about this one? I'm like, don't know, but we'll look at it together. And you're going, that because lion's mane already covers that, or you've got your magnesium. So it's quite interesting.
I mean, nutrition is a massive minefield, and I think there's a lot of people making a lot of money without any research in this space at the moment, and that troubles me quite a lot. There's a lot of what I call menowashing. And, I think the worst one I ever saw, I won't name in stores or any brands or anything like that, but there was a particular store who had a bar of chocolate that they'd always sold. And then all of a sudden up popped on the shelf the menopause version of this bar of chocolate. This one was something like £2.50 and this one was £4.50. And the only difference was one tiny bit of an active ingredient that actually, with the quantity that was in the chocolate, would never have made any difference whatsoever. But it was being rebranded as a menopause bar of chocolate.
Yeah.
So I'm exaggerating the actual amount of money was being charged and all the rest of it, but the principle was there. And that was the beginning of me just rolling my eyes. And then recently I saw in a supermarket, there's a whole section of an aisle that's been branded.
That as well, yeah. And it's like even shampoo, which is the same, and body wash, and you're going, it's no different, yeah.
And I don't want to put down anyone else that is doing great work to raise awareness of menopause, because we need everybody. There's space for everyone to help change the narrative of menopause. But I do worry that people are looking at things that are in front of their eyes because of the way social media work, the way advertising works. So the more you see it, the more you start to believe it, and you stop questioning it. And I think that it's getting the right help and support from our doctors, the right help and support from our partners and our peer group, our communities, our friendship groups. I think that's what's really important as well. But just at the back of the book, just to kind of say to people, I love the 10 do's and don'ts. So we're page 139. And I have to say, I'm going to jump to the 10 don'ts. And the first one is, don't say calm down. You will die immediately. I mean, how cool is that? Don't take anything personally. And this is such an important one, because I think specifically for men, it is so easy to take things personally. And if you've got quite traditional dynamics in your relationship as well, I think that this is something that I see play out often and often and often, too often. Don't take anything personally. It's hormones, exhaustion, overwhelm, not you. And do you want to read out 3 and 4?
Yep. Number 3, don't argue with her feelings. Are you sure equals danger?
I love that.
Number 4, don't fix everything instantly. Sometimes she just needs to vent.
Go for 5.
Don't comment on her body, ever, on anything.
6 is, don't say, but you were fine earlier. Earlier means nothing now. And definitely don't complain about the temperature. She's hot, the house is hot. Do you want to finish it off?
8, don't minimise symptoms. It can't be that bad. You end up sleeping outside. Don't push intimacy. Nothing kills connection like pressure. And number 10, don't disappear emotionally. Stay present when it's tough.
Great don'ts. I think they're a phenomenal way. And then you've got the symptom checker from the Menopause charity, and lots of other good information in there. So I definitely would highly recommend this to all of my male listeners and everyone else who is potentially... Sorry, did that come through?
Yeah, got that.
It did. 43, 46... all right, let me try that again. 43, 46, if you can edit that out, please. That's annoying because I've got my phone on Do Not Disturb. Okay, that was interesting. Stop. I wear hearing aids, so I don't know if you can hear everything that's in my ears or not. No? Okay, right. They're trying to phone me again. Let me get rid of that. Great, that should have gone. Okay, 44, 18. We'll just get that bit edited out. Yeah, I would highly recommend this book to every man listening to this and to everyone who knows a man who's listening to this, which is basically everybody. So for sure, the Information will be on the show notes for anyone that's listening to it rather than watching on YouTube. And definitely want to see as many people as possible using this as a really great guide to open the conversation, to help understand, to support your partner, to learn for yourself as well. I think it's got a role for everybody, whether you're any age, you're going to know someone, work with someone, live with someone, or socialize with somebody who's going to go through menopause at some point. And I believe, Sam, that someone else out there was claiming that they might be of a future date about to be the first man that wrote a book on menopause. Can you tell me a little bit more? Are you not one of the first?
Yeah, I think so. They came, I published on the 4th of March and they came out on the 26th of March.
So you are the first, and we just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah,
today.
I think I'm the first male to write for a male, yes, but they were claiming to be that, but that's fine. I can jump on the bandwagon.
I'm quite sure if we go and do a literature search, we will find many and various things out there.
Yeah,
but for the purposes of this conversation, you're certainly before that other one. So what else have I not asked you today, Sam, that you would like to mention or have people know?
I think we've covered it all. I think the big thing is it's not taking it personally anything for a man. That's the big one. It's about, as I said earlier, it's not you versus your partner, it's both of you versus the problem. And
I love that.
That's the big statement. It's trying, the book's got humour in it and compassion. It's about having that with your partner as well and just talking. You will make mistakes.
That's
we
human.
all will. Yeah, we all will, but it's about holding your hand up at the right time. And I think that the other one is when you want to have that, if something happens and you need to have a chat, it's about the timing of that chat. It doesn't have to be there and then. It can wait a couple of hours, it can wait a couple of days, but it's about the right time.
Yeah,
and it makes things easier. Yeah.
Thank you so much for making time
you.
to have this conversation, and I look forward to hearing all the comments that come back in from today's. Sam Anderson, thank you very much for today. Thank you for joining me on Women of a Certain Stage. I hope today's episode inspired you to think differently about menopause and the incredible opportunities this stage of life brings. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with 3 friends who need to hear this message. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps us reach even more people. You can connect with me on LinkedIn at Lauren Turin, or visit our website at womenofacertainstage.com to learn more about menopause coaching, inspiring events, and corporate training. Until next time, let's continue making a difference, one conversation at a time.